So now we're going to look at a way of doing the roll bias correction. And in order to do that, we need to start in MATLAB because we have some nice viewers that help us find special sections of the survey that are good for that. In particular, one way to do the roll bias is to choose a section where we had the vehicle turn around and drive back down the same track line. In that case, we're going to be able to see the roll bias because we'll see the seafloor with the vehicle imaging it from one direction and then from another direction that's 180 degrees out. So that will greatly exaggerate the roll bias, allow us to see it. But we need to figure out which files we want. So in order to do that, we go into MATLAB, we go to the process directory, and we load in all the FNV files from using a data list. So we use this command, read FNV from list, and then we specify as an argument datalist.mb-1. So what that's going to do is read in all the FNV files. FNVs are very lightweight, compact ASCII files that have all the navigation for the run. So they're much lighter weight, smaller, easier to parse, easier to handle than the full files that have sonar information in them. Okay, so after we've read that in, we then want to plot the FNVs. We use this plot FNV function. We don't want that. And so here's our survey. And if we look down here, the way this survey went, it started this way with this crossing line. And we ran down this line, and then intentionally we turned around and we ran back up that line, and we did this whole rectangular survey. So this section right in here, down on the southwest corner, is perfect for roll bias correction. And in fact, I have two files here which I can see have nice overlap. And the timestamp for those files, which are in their file names, are written here. And if I look real carefully, I can see that that's 23/1806 and 23/31/52. So that's all I need to know from that. And we actually don't need our MATLAB anymore after that because we have the two files. So we're still in that. We need to go back to that proc directory. So now we're going to look for the roll bias. Remember, we found the two reciprocal track lines using the FNV function in MATLAB. That basically gave us the two file names. Now we're going to use one of the MB system programs called MB Edit Viz to grid both of those on top of each other and twiddle, doodle, and fiddle with the roll bias until we reduce the disagreement between the southbound and northbound track, basically. So let's fire up MB Edit Viz, file open swath data. We're going to find our first file here, which is 23/18/06 x.mb88. So we want the unprocessed file, which is 23/18/06 x.mb88, not the P, but the X. Okay, and then we're going to get the next one, which is 23/31/52 x.mb88, not the xp.mb88. We're going to load those both in, and we're going to view both of those files. Okay, it's going to offer to grid them for us. We just take whatever it wants to do. And now so we see this is the two gridded on top of each other. If we zoom in, which you see we can do here with the right mouse button, you can actually see that we have a reciprocal track line here. You can see the southbound and the northbound track line separately. Okay, so we're going to look for maybe the flattest area in there, which is here, which is not super flat. And we're going to go to our mouse, and we're going to use the pick area family of mouse commands. and we're going to use this middle mouse key drag area. So let's do that. We're going to drag this area. You see we did that. We cut perpendicular across the grid. Now this is a view of all of those points looking sort of down the vehicle track. This is very useful, except that we have way too much data here. That box that we cut is too thick, so we're going to have to reduce its width. And we do that using the mouse command right button. We're in this, mouse is in pick area mode, and the mouse command we want to use is this right area width. So we go up to the top of the screen, we right click and we pull down, and it's actually reducing the width of the box. If you look where it says area info in that second box, second text box, you see the width is 52. Okay, I'm going to dismiss that again because I want to knock it down some more. I actually don't know of a more elegant way to do this. Now I'm down to 19 meters. Dismiss that. And now I'm down to 7 meters. Okay, and that looks good. So now we have this narrow box with the vehicle heading north and heading south. And actually this looks pretty good because we can't actually see what's northbound and what's southbound. I'm going to make this big. Now, I'm going to zoom out. Is that good? Okay. Because I need to zoom it. I need to pop this full screen so that I have all the commands. And in particular, I want this command here. If you look up here in the mouse commands, there's an R for exaggeration. I want to exaggerate things quite a bit so I'm going to be able to see that roll bias better. Now, so if I come over here and I look at the roll bias, remember this looks like a pretty good profile, but in fact it's really two profiles. And if I twiddle the roll bias here, you can see they start splaying away from each other because in fact one of them's heading in one direction, the other's one's going southbound, one's going northbound. So basically what I do is I find the roll bias that gives me the maximum agreement between these two, and that's actually the roll bias that I like. So right there happens to be 0, okay? So I guess the guys really lined the sonar up right when they put it together. Actually, we can't really distinguish, well, maybe a 1/10 of a degree or so here. But anyway, this is a way of manually twiddling the roll bias. When you get the roll bias that you like, that's actually the roll bias that you enter into the MB set command for MB process. So that's how you figure that out. We do it interactively that way. There's several other ways to do it. There is an MB system command for doing it. Once you have those two files, you can use that. I think it's called MB roll bias. Once you know those two files, you can use that as well. But the hard part is finding out which two files you want, and that's where I find that MATLAB utility where we plot the FNV files is quite handy. So that's how I do roll biases.